guys to the Slowpoke Roll, where today we're still covering that post-rotation Darkness Ablaze stuff, baby. And today I've got an attacker for you which, you know, in all fairness, is sort of falling out the limelight. You know, pre-rotation it was a bit hard to accelerate the energy and a bit hard to get enough damage on. Which is fair because Sableye, as we all know, attacks for 2 darks and needs loads of damage counters on your opponent's active for it to, you know, take one shot, which it desperately needs to do. But now I believe in the post-rotation format, Darkness Ablaze has introduced enough damage modifiers to where I think Sableye could be a new standalone-esque type deck. So let's have a look. So we're starting off with 3 Sableye Vs, okay? Like I said, basic Pokemon, 170 HP, super on the low side, don't get me wrong, he's a bit of a glass cannon, old Sableye is. 2 attacks, you've got Load Search. Search your deck for a trainer card and put it in your hand, not too bad, you know, going second could be a nice little way to shore up your turn 2. But then Crazy Claws is the attack we're really good. This is our build around, so for 2 straight darks, you do 10, sorry, plus 60 for each damage counter on your opponent's active. So, if let's say you have 3 damage counters, the opponent active has 3 damage counters on, you do 190, and you know you add 60 for each one. So we just sort of get in the 5 to 6 damage counter range to start one-shotting VMAXs. That's what we're sort of aiming for here. And before rotation, before Darkness Ablaze, that could have been a bit of a tall order, but now, like I said, there's enough damage modifier to our thing. I think you can actually, you know, all you have to do is just carry 2 VMAXs to win the game with Sableye. So even if you don't like chain 6 damage counters, you can just, I think there's more than enough damage modifiers now to where I think you can get it in play and KO 2 VMAXs. And against other stuff, I think you've definitely got enough damage modifiers to where, like stuff like Zacian, for example, you can easily chain KOs. Let's have a look. So our first way is a Roxie weezing engine. So in case you don't know what weezing does, if it's discarded with the effect of Roxie, you can put 1 damage counter on all your opponent's Pokemon. Obviously Roxie discards 2, so if you discard 2 you get 2 damage counters everywhere. So that's one way we can get enough damage into play. Okay, we do play 1 rod so we can get multiple uses of the weezing, and obviously we play weezings not coughings because that way we can't lead the coughing. And then one very, very cool way we can get damage into play now is the new Arctozolt. Arctozolt is insane when it's in play. Basically, it's got an ability, Numbing Vortex. Whenever your opponent attaches energy from their hand to one of their Pokemon, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. And this is really good targeted damage counters, okay? It's not like weezing where you're going to be hitting stuff you don't really care about, for example. This Arctozolt, like against Welder decks, they're taking 4 damage counters when they attach 2, right? So Center Scorch is going to be like really put under a lot of pressure with something like this. And against everything else, what I really like about it is your opponent will be attaching energy to their active, right? So like they can't really get around this Arctozolt, like unless they don't want to attack, for example. So Arctozolts, I find if you can get 2 out, you're laughing. Like you are literally clearing up. And it does make me wonder if you know, maybe just a Sableye, no Roxie's, just Arctozolt deck could be another way to go, maybe the better way. But as it stands now, I'm trying to sort of blend all the different Sableye archetypes together, and so far it's been alright in testing, so I think this is a pretty good one to start off with. But yeah, Arctozolt's really cool, and it's got 130 HP, so it's not too bad. We then play 2 Jirachis because we need something to help us ticking over, and Jirachi's going to help us do that. We already play 4 Switch, 4 Scoop Up Net, so I think you'd be silly not to play at least a couple Jirachis. We then play one of the new Mimikyu, reason being we don't want to be getting the opponent's Pokemon ready to be knocked out and then they actually heal it, so it's going to turn off stuff like Malolana. Hyper Potion now is seen in stuff like what's that one called, Center Scorch. So yeah, I think one Mimikyu is definitely warranted the slot. We're already playing 4 Scoop Up Net, so I think Zigzagoon is probably the easiest way to get damage counters into play. You could argue a second copy here, in all honesty, and the one that did well in Japan did play 2 copies. I'm only opting for the 1, but if you can fit it in, I think 2 would be kind of cool, but 1 is also plenty. And then 1 then just to help us draw through, because sometimes we are going to have to get energy in the bin. And we are going to have to, you know, sometimes we're going to have some dud hands. Like, there is a bit of clonk in this deck, so we need to just, sometimes just power through. And I think Wonder Dene is enough for this. So, we play 4 Roxie. Like I said, we already mentioned the Roxies for the reason, so we are going to play 4 of them. Roxie's really cool because it's going to let us get stuff in the bin. you know, put damage counters when we do hit the weezings, and it's going to let us grow our hand size. And we play enough Pokemon as to where we might not always be hitting the weezings, but we've got enough Pokemon where we can always be drawing 6. Because if you discard 2 Pokemon, you draw 6. If you discard 1, you draw 3. To supplement that, though, we still play 4 research, because, you know, nothing's better sometimes than just saying, you know what, this hand is garbage, let me just draw 3. So draw 3, sorry, draw 7. Ooh, well, I don't know where I got that one from. But yeah, sometimes just discard your hand, draw 7 is nuts. And we are playing Turbo Patch, we need to get energies in the bin, so research is good for this. And then 2 bosses orders. Now I would like a third, but like I said, we can afford to be pretty clinical, I think, with our bosses orders. So I would like a third, but I think space is a bit of an issue, so we're going to opt for 2 here. But if you can find space for a third, feel free. We then play 4 quick balls, because it's I think every deck should be playing 4 quick ball, to be honest with you. So we play 4, going to help us find our Zigzagoon, our Mimikyu, our Dedenne, our Jirachi, and our Sableye too. So quick ball gets a lot of value in this deck. Something else that gets a whole lot of value too is 4 Scoop Up Net. Okay, so this is going to basically let us get good value from our Jirachi, which is always well and good. But it also means we can start reusing that Galarian Zigzagoon. And Zigzagoon is just so scary, man, for your opponent. Like, let's say you've Roxie spread. So all your opponent's Pokemon have 2 damage counters on, right? And they promote their active and KO something. All you got to do sometimes is just find Goon plus Scoop Up Net, and you can just take a KO. And that's not too hard to do, you know, when you've got Roxie digging into your deck and drawing 6. Or you've got Research drawing 7, and you've got a Denny to fall back on as well. Like, Scoop Up Nets plus Goons are insane in a deck like this. So big fan. And here's the card that I think will either make or break the archetype. So I don't think getting damage counters into play is the limiting factor now for Sableye. Getting energy in play is we play 4 Turbo Patch. This is on face value pretty scary, because Sableye's a really good attacker when he gets going. Gives up 2 points, doesn't give up 3, and if you can sort of chain Turbo Patches, you're in a good spot. Other options, you can play stuff like Bead, but then we kind of want to be playing Roxie, so there's a little bit of counter synergy there, and you know, Bead's a pretty weak supporter in its own right. They're not seeing cards with Bead, so I'm opting for the Turbo Patches here. You know what, at the end of the day, if you flip head, you're taking big KOs. If you play 4, you only ever probably need to really hit 1 or 2 in a game, so hopefully, you know, the odds are in your favor there. We then play 4 Switch. Again, this is just so we can get max value from our Jirachis. And it also lets us get around potential bosses order stall too. Like Arctozolt has a 2 retreat cost, for example. And we're not playing twin energies for obvious reasons. So 4 switch, mostly there to let us get use out of Jirachi, but can also stop the bosses stall as well. We then play 3 Pokemon. I wouldn't mind a 4th. This is mostly just so we can get the Arctozolts out, because, you know, once we get Arctozolt out, let me tell you, it takes the pressure off. It really takes the pressure off having to, you know, find Goons and find Roxies. So I'm a fan of the Pokecoms. You know, if we can maybe fit a few more in, or potentially increase the Arctozolt line, I'm all for it. But for now, I think 3 Pokecoms is the way to go. And then we play 3 of the rare fossil. Pretty much identical to Mysterious Fossil, except it's got 70 HP. You cannot use Labs, unfortunately, to find it. Otherwise, that'd be insane turn 1 if you can just get out 2 of the fossils. That'd be nuts. Now, you could go down like a Bill's analysis type route, and that will also help you find Turbo Patch. That is something worth considering, to be fair. Maybe, because my first list did run 2 Professor's Research and 2 Bill's analysis. Because Bill's finds you a whole lot of stuff in this deck, right? Finds Scoop Up Net, finds Turbo Patch, finds Rare Fossil. But I was finding that in the early game, I wasn't really getting stuff set up like I wanted, so I've gone to the 4 Research. But bear in mind that if you do find yourself, you know, missing your fossils early or your patches, you can try out the Bill's analysis version. We play 1 ordinary wild. This is mostly just so we can get back the weezing, so we can reuse the weezings if we had to like research 2 away early game or something like this. Also lets us get back our Sableye, so we are only playing 3. So there is this. And another way we can get damage counters in play is the new Spikemuth gym, baby. Oh yes. So this is when your active Pokemon leaves the active spot to go to the bench, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. So if a Jirachi, let's say, switches from the active to the bench, Gotta take 2 damage. Now, granted, that will hurt our Jirachis in the meantime, but we have got Scoop up there trying to raise that damage if it comes to it. But it's mostly for our opponent, because, like, just imagine, right? We Roxie spread, right? Bang, there's 20. And if they then retreat while they've got Spikemuth in play, or switch, I should say, they're now at 4 damage counters, and yeah, and that's a pretty passive 4 damage counters. Like, I haven't really done a lot to do that. If we've got an Arctozolt in play and they switch, oh, it's just, you know, the damage is fine everywhere, which is why I think damage counters now for Sableye isn't the limiting factor. Like I said, I do believe it will be the energy, because we're just throwing damage counters around like any man's business. And then rounding off the list, we have 10 basic dark energy. That's a good number. I wouldn't mind a couple more just to really help out getting them in the discard pile early on for our turbo patch. But like I said, space is kind of tight already. So, but I think 10's been working out fine for me. So yeah. So here's Sableye. Let me know how you get on with it. Like I said, there's a few more ways you can play this. This is like a sort of jack of all trades Sableye, where, you know, we're trying to get the Arctozolts out, we're trying to get Roxie, we're trying to get Goon plus Scoop up net. I do feel that there could be a couple more like half variants in there where you really lean into the fossils and you use build analysis to get them out. Or you play a couple more Goons and you play the Scoop up net still. I feel like there's a few different ways you can play the archetype, but I think this is a very good starting point. So let me know how you get on. Let me know if you like the list. Yeah, leave it in the comments. I love reading the comments as always. If you're after more Darkness Ablaze post rotation content, make sure you check the playlist in the description, where I've got you know, I've been trying to get out a Darkness Ablaze video a day, so plenty of stuff in there, gameplay and deck profiles. But thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you all next time.